Years ago, I watched my mother lose her job after developing carpal tunnel syndrome from repetitive data entry work. She later had surgery and was let go from her position, and that moment really stuck with me. And I remember thinking, there has to be a better way. That's what inspired me to create Connex, a tool that automates e-commerce operations and helps businesses eliminate tedious manual work. And that's why I love talking with people who are just as passionate about removing friction for sellers. Today, I'm excited to welcome Nicolas, who's the co-founder of eStreamly, a platform that helps e-commerce sellers harness the power of live and shoppable video. Nicolas has built his career around creating better customer experiences and helping brands connect authentically with their buyers. With video, he's showing that it's not just about selling, it's about solving problems. In today's conversation, Nicolas and I will talk about why video is more than a marketing tactic. It's a problem-solving tool for sellers. How video can reduce returns by educating buyers before they purchase. Ways live video helps sellers forecast demand and prevent stockouts. And how shoppable video integrates with existing e-commerce tools. And what's next for video in e-commerce and why sellers need to pay attention. So Nicolas, what inspired you to create eStreamly?
So hey, Joseph, nice to see you on the show. Excited to be here. As you say, my name is Nicolas Bailliache, co-founder of eStreamly. I started eStreamly right after, or during the pandemic, I'll say. I was head of sales for a pretty large CPG, and one of the things that I really realized working through that journey was I was working with very small entrepreneurs to very large company like the Coca-Cola, Tyson, and so forth. And when you have a great product and a great idea, it does require a little bit more than just have a great product to actually being able to on the market. And unfortunately, from my journey, if I realized something is a lot of those big companies, they have really bad product and still they're able to succeed because they have access to distribution. One of the things that I really realized also was there was a lot of very small entrepreneurs that had great product, but they were struggling with distribution and getting rich. And I come from a family of entrepreneur myself. My parents were fishmongers, so I sold fish when I was very young and in the eyes early morning. There's no much. There's a power when you are face to face with a customer to tell your story, where they start to understand, and in their story they tell it to their friends and so forth, and so you start building momentum with that one-on-one. But if you think of online, there's no great way of doing that. The online today is mostly text and picture. You're talking to your machine, you're purchasing from a machine, and now especially with all the advance of ChatGPT and so forth, where that connection is even more remote and no longer existing. And I think that there's no better way to convey that specific story about why you exist, why you belong, than video. And in reality, if you think of if you're a brand today and wants to get into the Walmart and so forth, they no longer want you to be, to pay just to get on those platforms and on those websites and on those retailers. They also want to show that you demonstrate that at the moment you're in, you will have a following of people that are going to purchase your product. And really, there's no greater way than building video content to tell your story, but also building that following and live stream. And so that's what inspired me, is that how can the medium and the human interaction, the building relationship, can be used at scale where people can not only communicate, but also purchase right there. And so that's how it all started.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about impersonal sales with ChatGPT. You're asking it questions and it's giving you results, but I don't find that it returns videos. And a video is a way to kind of demonstrate your product and have a kind of more of a hear a voice, maybe see a face, and have some kind of back and forth communication. That's a really good point. It sounds like eStreamly.
It doesn't do that yet, right? First, but the reality is, think of the brand destruction that those ChatGPT are doing to brand, right? Mm-hmm. I purchased personally through those platforms and many times, and I will tell you, I have no idea who I purchased it from. Like, it was purely, I have a need, I go there, I got an answer that on paper looks good, and I click the press button, buy it, and now I have the product, I'm using this product, but there's no way I will be able to by myself find that brand and then purchase from it, because I built zero emotional relationship with that brand. So it's kind of hard, right? I will do a repeat purchase if I need the product again, but like the upsell and everything, like if that brand tried to upsell me and they are not upfront that, hey, Nicholas, you purchased this product on ChatGPT from us, I will not even watch that email because I have no clue who they are. And so I think if you think of it that way, I mean, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but ChatGPT really is great because it gets you straight to the thing you need, but that whole brand building no longer exists. So how do you create that brand building in this new era? And I think that's kind of the imperative for a lot of people.
So speaking of building up this brand, when you talk to sellers, what are the biggest challenges that they're facing right now? And how does your video help? And you mentioned that person-to-person connection and upsells.
Yeah, so if you think about the problem we're trying to solve, we started on this wonderful fairy tale journey that I was just telling you about to realize it was more than that. And in reality, there are a lot of complexity related. Now, if you fast forward 4 years ago on into this journey, the real problem we're solving is a lot of merchants are producing content today, but there is a real challenge going on. And we were talking with the CMO from Depot recently, and she was saying like from last year to the year before, they had to produce twice as much content to get the same amount of engagement. And the reality is everyone is on this content cycle, producing, and getting less and less return for their content because it's very hard to grab attention of users, really got to grab. And so what really we are solving today is how do we take that content, make it shoppable and redistribute it across every marketing channel, email, SMS, website, social media, a mobile app, ever you are, but with a very easy way to purchase. So now that content can finally go back to maybe be an ROI positive or growing your ROI on the piece of content as opposed to be just something that people consume and then move on.
Yeah, you want content that converts to a sale.
Yes, that's true. Also, although I will say that, there's a lot of different ways you can create content, right? You currently creating content, your intention, the motivation of that content is a sale down the line, but the primary intention is to engage with your community, tell them, give them value through a conversation with others, right? Hoping that people still engaging with you, still keeping you in top of mind. And at some point, someone will say, hey, actually, this product is good. Let me purchase that, right? So not every content are meant for direct sales. It's also when someone is grabbing to the content, and the content can be entertaining, can be a learning. How do you make like the purchase from that piece as easy as possible for the moment that person is ready to purchase?
Yeah, they're hot, so to speak. They're ready to buy, and how do you just click the buy button and then put in the Apple Pay and get the bracelet or whatever you're doing a video on? And so, speaking of making it easy to purchase, can you share an example where video helped a brand reduce returns or increase the conversions by solving a specific customer problem?
Yeah. So there's different way of approaching that. So there are brands that, especially in the fashion industry. So imagine that you're in fashion. I can't name the name of the brand specifically, but that brand had a very big problem on return. And one of the problem was when people using the product, like the picture were not properly rendering how the as well as the size are really reflecting on people. And so what they end up doing is like shooting a different type of video with different type of the person wearing the product. And then all of a sudden you can identify yourself to that person and see how the person is wearing. And then basically it educates you on the purchase. And so as a result of that, they were able to reduce their return by almost 40% on those items specifically, because now you see the product in action, so you can reduce specifically your return. Now, the other opportunity on conversion specifically, we were like, this is a brand I can name. We were working with Lavazza, the coffee company, and they were looking at how can we engage our audience that we already have, but then drive purchase of the coffee machine for the holidays. So they did a couple live stream, and one was about how do we make a macchiato with a chef. And what ended up happening is that as the chef was presenting how to make a macchiato, they had a 47.5% conversion rate down during that live stream. So if you think that a traditional website might generate 2.5 to 3% conversion rate, creating an event has always been better anyway to generate and attract folks and convert more, but making it where the event is super dynamic and engaging, where people can ask questions with the host can respond right away, and make that shoppability right there on the spot so simple really drive a lot of conversion. And it's not new, right? QVC has been there for what, for 40, 30, 50 years now. It's just like simplifying the whole process.
Yeah, you have a demonstration of the product and then people go to QVC and buy it. So I get what you're saying. A lot of sellers think of a video as just top of funnel marketing. When should they start thinking about video as an operations solutions too?
Yeah. So I was just recording a podcast a couple of minutes ago, and with this seller, she does 24/7 live streaming. So this is not top of the funnel, right? I think she was telling us that 95% of all their revenue, and it's a 14 people operation, are generating from live streaming, live shopping, and video. So I think there's two ways of doing that, right? So the merchant that we see them being really good at is when video start to be, when you consider yourself a video first or video second type company, where video is engaging with your audience is a critical piece of what you are doing every day, then all of a sudden it makes a lot of sense. If you're not in that stage, then, operationally, some of the technology that we provide might not be as relevant for you because at the end, you got to know how to operate video at scale to be successful with video commerce. But the only thing I will say, and I don't know if you know that, Joseph, but 80% of the internet today is video, right? So that's where your shopper is, where they engage, where they have fun, and making it shopping and easy to shop is super crucial for this journey.
Do you think for like a subscription-based SaaS company like Connex, do you think people are on YouTube or TikTok or they're mostly like a Google search? I mean, maybe, I know it's not retail, but...
So you mean like they're on those platforms and purchase? Is that what...
Yeah, someone's looking for a platform to sync their selling channels or do some operation software. Do you feel that they're on like a YouTube? Because you mentioned 80% of the searches you think are internet's mostly video. Do you think...
The user where they're... Yeah. I mean, technically, right, if you think video as a broad scale, right, YouTube is the number one place. Mm-hmm. For video long form, but TikTok is a big place. You've got platform like TikTok, obviously you've got all the Instagram, the Facebook of the world, Netflix, and all those parts. Like there's a lot of work being done we work with merchants that are trying to own the second screen on TV. So you've got the TV, and then how do you transfer that to a second screen experience where it's a video experience still and make that shoppable? I mean, ultimately, just look at where you are every day and then find about like on that where you are, how can you is there something you can do to own the experience that user is doing or that you are doing today? And with eStreamly, we are addressing some of those things, but then like TikTok, for instance, is a native thing you do on the app, right? So on the TikTok app, you can make it shoppable. On YouTube, you don't have those possibilities. That's where, solution like eStreamly can be quite interesting for that purpose.
Yeah, to own the YouTube, or you do videos for TikTok too, or just?
So TikTok is, you can't make the TikTok shoppable. So at eStreamly, we don't make video. What we do is we render the video a shopping asset, right? So we work with merchants that have an e-com, maybe they're connecting directly with your company, and all they need is a streamlined way from content to checkout. And we do that streamlined way of content to checkout. We don't create the content, we do that element. So yeah, those on TikTok does not allow you to touch the platform basically. So that's where the challenge comes.
That's very good to know. I'm glad I talked to you more about YouTube and TikTok and some of the differences. So looking ahead with all this AI and ChatGPT, do you think, where's video going the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I think video is going toward like fully AI generated. We just started to dabble into that, and it's pretty amazing what you can get. I believe that a lot of those videos will be AI generated. So for instance, right now you can take a product page and then generate 50 different videos to address all the questions, all the reviews that you already have on this product, creating like new ways to learn about the product through videos. So I think this is coming, and those videos are pretty good actually. And they don't need a creator, but they don't address the same way. They are not top of funnel. They are more like, I have an information and I can consume that information in a very short way. So that's one element.
So you mentioned the videos are top, or can be top of funnel, but they can bring people even towards the middle of the funnel. But I feel like to bring people to the middle, you really need to build that trust. And sellers have trouble building trust online. How can these videos help create a sense of connection and of authenticity that product pages are just unable to do on their own?
Yeah, so I think a lot of merchants today are creating content, right? And that content is typically top of the funnel. You're explaining about the brand, explaining about the value of the product, explaining all those things. But if you think about the content strategy you have, there's a lot of bucket that you need to address the whole perspective of the video journey of that user. And so it's pretty costly. And I believe a lot of those buckets can be fulfilled by AI, which are more middle of the funnel, and then you can reallocate all your budget to top of the funnel. So you do need to work with creator. You do need to maybe be the brand ambassador or creating inspiration for your product. That inspiration will be native on platform or will be native into other channel that you may own. But I'm thinking that I believe the whole model funnel and then the all the way to checkout will be done through content that is more responding to a specific need that you have at that specific time. But you will already know about the brand. You already know why you consider that brand. And now you're just like more on the execution piece of it.
So what mistakes do you see brands making when they first try the video, and how can they avoid them?
It's I don't think there is a mistake when you create video. I think the challenge is like for a lot of people is overwhelming creating content. So if you're like a solopreneur and you just have to do everything by yourself, that is very complex. And the other thing that I see as typically as the biggest mistake is like overproducing and putting too much cost and effort into creating content. I believe in content velocity, not so much in perfection of content. So the more content you put out there, and the more you watch at what is working versus what is not working, and that's when you will figure it out how to continue. The thing I want to share with the audience and with your listeners, if you think about, I think it was Marcus Sheridan that was saying that is any company that don't realize they're a media company, they're dead. And unfortunately, I am a true believer in that. I mean, in a way, you probably are also by creating this podcast and this platform where you are creating content. The reality is you need a way to grab attention to users that is not intrusive and it's not maybe through ad are expensive. And so how do you provide value? Sharing content and creating storyline. We all love good stories and we all love to engage. And so I think that's where it's needed. And then the last thing I will say is that if you think about where we are in the US compared to other parts of the world, especially in Asia, today about maybe 0.5% or 1% of e-com transactions are driven by video. But in Asia, it's already 20% plus. So we're talking about $500 billion market in Asia alone that is driven through video. People just love to shop on content. This is, if you are able to engage your audience, you will be able to drive sales. And so be authentic, be yourself, present the product in the right way. Don't overproduce and just focus on velocity, not on perfection.
Yeah, we have our marketing director here, and he's advised us to use like short videos, 60 to 90 seconds. I find that people lose I've seen demos from competitor products of mine and they're 52 minutes. I'm like, 53-minute video. I go to YouTube because I don't want to commit to a long episode of something. I just want to watch a short video of silly things.
You know that TikTok, and I think, I don't know exactly for YouTube short, but I can tell you on TikTok, average watch time on video is 3 seconds.
3 seconds?
3 seconds. And then we see our platform, right? A lot of our clients are using video. Their average watch time is 15 seconds. When you are at 15 seconds, it's pretty good. So if you think about a company like we work with, Built Bar, pretty amazing product. They're like video crazy. Their video is 7 seconds. And it's about mass. They will push 6-7 pieces of content a day, but 7 seconds type shoot. So hey, and if you think about it, VO free and all those AI model, what do they create for free? For 8 seconds videos. You can stay playing with that already, and you can have fun with AI video.
The videos that I like to do, I'll give a 60 and 90 second overview. So I'll start out with a little agenda, like this is Joe, CEO of Connex. Today I'm demonstrating Shopify and Connex. Go a couple, you see me moving. You think it's good to have like a picture of someone on a video like speaking, or is it just the actual demo of the product? You think having a person on there is more like connection-wise?
But I think it depends what your goal is, right? Like a video that you just described, I'm most likely I'm already convinced that I'm gonna purchase from you. Like I'm 95% there, right? That's the content you're just delivering, and you're just telling me, okay, that's my validation point that I should go with that product. But how do you address the 0 to 95. And that type of video will not address that because they are not entertaining enough. And so what can you do? Maybe start dancing. And I don't know, like you gotta find a way to grab people attention so they are spending the first 3 minutes, the first 3 seconds, then to engage with your content. And the hardest part when you create content is that first 3 seconds. Like, how do you create the hook so people get in? Like, if you start by introducing yourself, maybe that's not the right thing. So what is the 3 seconds that will work? And one thing that I've seen that worked very, very well is start by the end. What is the end point of the video? Like, if you were doing a video about how to do the connect, maybe you start by showing like the first 3 seconds is like a beautiful way, like you see that, my God, I couldn't do that before, and now I can. And then hey, by the way, this is Joe, and this is what we do, and this is how we do it. And then that's the hook. Maybe that's just a different approach, but
Yeah, I like the approach. What makes Connex unique is that many companies need to change how the fields map. They want some customization. Mm-hmm. And many companies, they'll build a plugin for you, but it can't be customized in any way. So if it doesn't work or it doesn't bring in data the way you want or it misses things, there's nothing you can do. Whereas with Connex, it's more customizable. And that's something I like to emphasize in our videos when someone says, oh, we already have a connector. Yeah, but your connector doesn't work for many of your customers, but ours can.
I see.
That's what I like. That's what we like. That's what we like to emphasize.
So, figured out a way of doing that. Like, I was talking with a company, and it was actually very recently, and they sell B2B Wedler and a bunch of like EV equipment product, and they have a machine shop that, because they need to sometime customize some product in their machine shop, and then and she say, oh, my content is not responding, it's not responding, it's not responding. And I say, well, why don't you just put a camera on someone doing work on the machine shop and then grab attention like this? And they did that, and they multiply their view and their engagements by almost 10x by just doing this. So sometimes it's the thing that you do already that you found maybe is irrelevant, that people grab attention, and then from there you deliver your message. So always experiment and have fun doing it.
Yeah, I like the idea of just kind of starting at the end. Like, let me show you an easy way to map your fields using business logic. Let me show you a way to customize something without writing, custom software.
Yeah, but people don't want to be shown something. Like, where's the value? Like, you to tell me, oh, I'm going to show you something. Oh yeah, you're already on a sales pitch. And what if you were to not demonstrate, but how do you provide me value today? And what are we doing with this pod? You're providing value to audience because you want them to get excited about your product and learn about you and so forth. And then from there, intermittently, they might go and transact. And so on your content, it's always about like, how do you answer the what's in it for me? That's how do I answer the what's in it for me? Why would I watch your content? And then if you are able to nail that down, it's super hard. I'm really, really bad at it. But the people that can do it, that's the big difference from someone that struggles with content and someone that is exceeded any expectation, being able to answer that. But it's fascinating, the journey of doing this. If you have the time, not the time, but if you're willing to put the effort to get through that journey.
And so getting on to our last question for this podcast. Sellers are juggling a lot of multiple channels like Amazon, Shopify, social media. How does video fit into a multi-channel strategy without adding extra complexity?
So I love this question. I was talking on my pod. So I run a pod called the Live Ecommerce Podcast. Feel free to check it out. And we had Jay Hunter on the pod. He's the CRO of Mario Ruth Organic. So for the one that don't know Mario Ruth, they do a lot of multivitamins and a lot of like health product and so forth. And they're streaming 24/7 right now. They're like big in video creation. The whole started with because the founder was someone that loved to be on camera and talk their story through it, very authentic. So they really build a community through video. But when they think about different channel, they're very clear with it. The content on TikTok is meant for a discount. The content on Amazon is meant for people that want fast shipping and they will just want to respond to answers, like very transactional type purchase. The content on the website is meant and designed for people that are here to learn more about the product, the intimacy, how it works, what are the ethos of the brand and all that stuff. And so I think when you think about your content strategy across those channels, I don't think you should think like it's almost like you have to think about what is the purpose of that channel. Like for instance, what we've found is like embedding email into abandoned carts, for instance, is very interesting. Embedding video into abandoned cart email, sorry. So not on the first email, but on the second and the third one. Because if you abandon the cart, is maybe because either it was not convenient to purchase at that moment. So maybe the first email where you say, hey, shop here, it's easy, transactional, you get there. But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's because, hey, you know what, I still have a question. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure it's the right fit for me. But providing content with a review might be quite interesting at that moment. And it's quite easy. You click, you view, you purchase. Maybe the third email is about answering a specific problem that the product is addressing and reinforcing that it addresses and the person might feel like. And so I think you have to think about content as, okay, where in the journey the content is, and then what can I do with that content to maybe fit those different platforms. And there's plenty of platforms. eStreamly is one of them, but there are other platforms that can help you navigate the right content to the right place in the customer journey.
For example, if someone's on a free trial and they're having a problem connecting to an accounting system, they get email, do you need help pairing QuickBooks? Well, here's a video on how to do it step by step.
That's a perfect way. Or it could be, here's a video, and then that video on that there's a phone button. When you click on it, boom, it's ring on their phone, it clicks, and then they get on call with a salesperson. It's all about like, how do you because people love to consume content. So they will naturally be gravitating around video content and watching this. So how do you take that as an opportunity to get them to the next step? And what is that next step? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to purchase? Do you want them to download your app?
Even with Connex, we would want people to, like, if they're having we call our trial users. Mm-hmm. We try to be more one-on-one. We have over 60% close rate with trial users that we call, and once we make it work, I think our close rate's almost 100%.
There you go. So I
we
will
found
say
with that connection.
Yeah, one thing that we've seen in the e-com world. So this is in your case, that's what you're doing every day. But like in the world of e-com, how can you translate your insights into someone that sells, let's say, a luxury product, for instance? Well, one of the things is like you have in your customer database, you have maybe the top 10% of your customer that have a very high AOV. They're loyal to you, maybe your 1,000 customer, right? The 1,000 fan. Look at those and what can you do to create very unique experience just for them? And we have one of the tools is the one-on-one video calling. And so we can get on a call where we see each other, but I can push product in front of you. You can view those specs and shop, and I can see your purchase history. So all of a sudden, you're providing me a tool that has magic for salespeople. But think of it from an e-com perspective. If you have customer that maybe you generate 10 or 20 plus K per year with them, why not giving them a call? Because you probably only have 10 or 15 of those, right? And so, and those, you will be surprised how you can move those customers to way more by doing that on a very unique experience. So I think this is a great insight you have. Sometimes you can do some little thing like that are more B2B like, but they have exponential success. And similarly, B2B can do a lot of things that B2C is doing and also have exponential success. You're B2B and yet you're doing content, right? And so there are like a lot of bridges that are interesting in this world.
And I really appreciate it. I think that's a great question to close on. There's a lot of ways to bridge the content. You mentioned that B2B companies are following B2C tactics like making content. That's why we're making content like the podcast to help build trust with our customers that, we're experts in this space. I want to give you a big thank, Nicolas, for joining us today. I think, do we meet at the conference in August in Boston?
ETEL Boston, you're right.
Yeah, the ETELEASE, that's where we came by. So that's where I remember where we met you. It was a fun conference. And if you're an e-commerce seller, and here's a takeaway, every challenge that you face, whether it's your returns, customer confusion, even forecasting, can be an opportunity for you to use video to connect, clarify, and scale smarter. If you want to learn more about using live and shoppable video in your e-commerce business to build the trust and connection that people need to buy your product and get upsells, check out eStreamly.com. And if you want to ditch manual data entry and automate your operations, head over to connexecommerce.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another seller who's ready to solve problems with video.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Everyone.